Team Edward, get ready! Netflix's new Twilight Midnight Sun animated series is coming. Here's what they need to consider to make it sparkle. Because Midnight Sun provides a new narrative on many of Twilight's biggest scenes, the Netflix series has the perfect opportunity to revisit them in a fresh way. Utilizing both Bella and Edward's perspectives would provide a full picture to the audience and could be done through head hopping between the characters. Take the famous meadow scene, for example. In Twilight, it's depicted as a romantic turning point. However, in Midnight Sun, we realize that it's Edward's final test of self-control. He's hyper aware of every detail in that situation and exposes his skin in the sunlight not just to prove to Bella what he is, but to see if he can trust himself alone with her. The Port Angeles rescue is another example of Midnight Suns making an original Twilight scene even more intense. It's revealed that Edward isn't just in the right place at the right time by coincidence. He's tracking Bella's attackers, listening to their thoughts, and planning how he'll kill them if he has to. The series can build tension through perspective jumping between Bella, her attackers, and Edward. It would also showcase Edward's darker side to make his intervention feel truly terrifying rather than heroic. The premise of the book is a deep exploration into Edward Cullen's life and his internal battles. Revisiting the events of Twilight through his eyes reveals just how tortured he truly is. Edward isn't simply a brooding, mysterious boy in high school. He's actually in a constant battle with his vampiric instincts. Netflix needs to clearly emphasize his inner turmoil by lifting scenes directly from the novel without changing much. The biology class scene is a great example. In Midnight Sun, Edward is contemplating his bloodlust during class, which is when he first meets Bella. Longer, introspective moments are essential, where Edward reflects on past kills or contemplates the dangerous pull Bella's scent has on him. Showcasing Edward's inner intensity provides a darker, more complex character, elevating him from mysterious to more relatable. If done well through Edward's internal monologues, Netflix will be able to illustrate the vampire's self-disgust, confusion, and despair, making him a much more empathetic character. His mind-reading abilities are also explored further in the book.
I can read every mind in this room.
The Netflix adaptation can utilize the animation to creatively visualize these mind-reading sequences, depicting Edward's internal visions as noisy and chaotic, amplifying his discomfort and isolation. It would be good for the show to make some scenes, especially the chaotic cafeteria scene, more detailed in this way to show Edward's struggles to manage this influx of noise. Perhaps we see him in pain from the constant challenge to filter the noise, clearly showing the continuous mental strain he faces. Midnight Sun makes it clear that Edward doesn't just have self-control issues though. It's obvious that he's obsessed with Bella in ways that could easily be seen as unsettling. His jealousy, especially when Bella talks to other boys, is also explored in the novel. He watches her sleep, follows her scent, and justifies it by convincing himself it's for her safety. Netflix needs to explore this without romanticizing it. It's imperative that Edward's actions, while framed by love, come from a place of deep insecurity and fear, and he needs to acknowledge this. He doesn't trust himself, and that internal battle should be felt in every moment of his time with Bella. Netflix must portray Edward's internal struggle with jealousy and self-loathing, capturing how he despises himself for these human-like emotions, as well as feeling shame and guilt over his inability to control his obsessive, creepy behaviors. If this isn't addressed by Edward himself at least once, it could become a problematic element for the protagonist and audience connection. But Edward isn't all torment and self-loathing. He has a humorous side, which some fans felt was missed from the previous movie adaptations. Netflix needs to bring back Edward's humor from the books and embrace his more sarcastic, sometimes cynical commentary. Specific moments, such as when Edward is internalizing how ridiculous Jessica Stanley's shallow gossip is, or Mike Newton's futile romantic attempts, would make his character more relatable to many of us. Another aspect of Edward's character that would broaden his appeal in the series is his love of music. In Midnight Sun, his compositions and piano playing are a major emotional outlet. Music is one of the few ways Edward truly expresses himself, and showcasing this in the series would deepen his character. Netflix can use this aspect of his personality to make Edward's music become part of the overarching score of the show and connect us to him throughout, rather than just relying on dialogue. Netflix also needs to portray the complexities of aging emotionally through lifelong experiences while still being perceived as youthful. Edward has been a young man for over a century. Though he was once young in mind, his experiences have have matured him. Normal teenage behavior is now foreign to him. He doesn't understand why Bella would ever be interested in high school boys like Mike Newton, or why high school drama matters to anyone at all. This detachment is humorous, especially for those of us who are long grown out of the high school life, but it also highlights how separate he feels from the world he's trying to blend into. The Cullen family is of course a crucial element to the series, and one that the Netflix series needs to focus on more. It is a prime opportunity to see how the Cullens function from the perspective of someone deeply ingrained in their history, not just through the eyes of an outsider like Bella. Midnight Sun extensively explores Edward's relationship with his parents, Carlisle and Esme, as well as his siblings. Alice, for example, isn't just a quirky, fun-loving sister. She's Edward's greatest emotional support. Her visions shape many of Edward's decisions. She even knows that Bella will become part of the family long before anyone else even accepts it, and this needs to be a key aspect of the series. The show could also shed light on how Alice's gift is also a burden. She sees countless possibilities and must navigate which future she should steer toward.
It's gonna happen, Edward. I've seen it.
It doesn't have to be that way.
Considering the Netflix adaptation is animated, it would be easy to use beautiful visuals to show Alice's shifting visions in real time, making them an active part of the narrative rather than just exposition. Being able to explore Rosalie from Edward's point of view and not Bella's would also be interesting. Edward's perspective gives us the chance to see that Rosalie's bitterness isn't about hating Bella, but actually that she resents the idea that Edward would throw away his humanity so easily when she never had a choice. The series should explore this conflict in more depth, making Rosalie's resistance to Bella's presence feel more layered and sympathetic. Jasper's bloodlust is another crucial element that Midnight Sun develops more than Twilight, and it should be a much bigger part of the Netflix series. Edward sees Jasper as the most dangerous Cullen. He is at constant war with himself and his instincts. He has an almost military-like focus on restraint, but Midnight Sun reveals how much of a struggle this truly is for him. The Netflix series could show Jasper's raw hunger through subtle physical changes such as flashes of blackened eyes and tense, tightened body language. Making his struggle visible would add another layer of suspense and realism to the Cullen family dynamic. One of the deepest themes in Midnight Sun is the moral question of immortality. The series needs to ensure it captures Edward's initial ambivalence about immortality, but also be sure it takes time to emphasize his reflections on eternal life. This could be done through poignant internal monologues or conversations with Carlisle on the weight of living forever. The moral debates in the novel between Edward and his father Carlisle are important and must be prominently featured. These philosophical discussions about morality, humanity, and how they are in opposition to their vampire nature would raise meaningful philosophical questions as well as add depth to Edward and Carlisle's relationship. Edward believes that if he turns Bella into a vampire, he's condemning her soul. Carlisle sees it differently, believing their lifestyle gives them a form of redemption. This is an important philosophical debate that the Netflix series should explore in depth. The series has an opportunity to really amplify the various conflicts that arise through the Twilight series, especially Edward's struggles with his romantic choices. It can take the story from a teenage love fest to a more ethical and philosophical dilemma. Loving Bella isn't about wanting her all to himself, it's about wrestling with what's right and wrong from numerous moral perspectives. What are your hopes for the Netflix adaptation? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching Screen Rant.